Hey, welcome to the Political Campaign Planner for Notion. I'm really excited that you purchased this template. And in this video, I want to walk you through the features of the Political Campaign Planner and teach you a little bit about what you're going to see when you start using the planner. Now, before I get into that, I just want to talk about why I created this. Notion is such an amazing productivity tool. It's an amazing sharing tool. It's a great database tool. It's just really perfect for the application that you're going to use all this data and information to organize your campaign. And literally, after working on hundreds of campaigns and creating these processes and using things like Google Drive and spreadsheets and documents and all different types of systems, when Notion came out and I started playing with Notion, I realized how perfect it was for this kind of system, which is why I've put this onto Notion. And what I'm going to walk you through now, hopefully it becomes a really good tool for your campaign. I think it's really going to help keep organized, keep you organized, and keep the campaign organized. And because Notion is shareable with so many different types of peoples and roles, you'll be able to keep the privacy up that you want to keep up for different roles on your campaign. Now, I've used this with a number of campaigns, both large and small, for campaigns that cost a couple $1,000s all the way up to a couple $100,000 and even more. So there's really no limit to what you can use this for. Although I would argue it's especially helpful for local campaigns and smaller campaigns that don't have a lot of resources and may not be able to go out and purchase a lot of different software like some of the bigger campaigns use. So I'm going to get into it now and just show you some of the features here. What you'll notice when you start off on the, as soon as you clone this or duplicate it into your own Notion system, you'll notice here I've got it in my own campaign HQ. And here I am at the Political Campaign Planner main page. And what you'll get are some introductions. And you'll notice here that, you have some down carrots and these get into other discussions. And there'll be some images here that you could look at and read. Now, generally speaking, I include instructions in all the different areas. So as you navigate through the template, you'll see in the different dashboards and the different databases, you'll see instructions on the types of information and the types of data that you will find on those pages, and also the types of information that you should put into those pages to be helpful for your campaign. Now, of course, everything is modifiable, but one of the things you'll notice when you start is that a lot of these pages are locked, and you'll notice a locked icon up here. And that's really for the safety of the database. When you start off, I recommend making a copy of this just so you have a copy, or you can always get back in touch with us or Notion to get a clean copy once you've purchased this. But in case you edit it and then you can't figure out what you edited or you can't go back, it's always safe to make a duplicate. Just keep it somewhere safe. That's usually what I do with templates that I want to work on. But separately, you can do whatever you want with this. You could change databases, you could change relations, things like that. And we'll get into more of that as we go along. Also, I'll note that I have a link here to documentation that you could look at any time. And if you have any questions, just send a note over to info@campaignplanner.org and we'll try to help you out. So let's get into the features. It's set up in two ways. Everything in blue, you will notice, is a dashboard. Now, a dashboard is really for viewing the data from the databases, right? So you can interact with the data, but you're doing it through the dashboard and through something that Notion calls views, right? You have a view, which is a view into the database, a view into how the data is positioned inside your Notion installation. So that's what you'll get with all of these different dashboards. And included in the Political Campaign Planner are the main dashboard, the task dashboard, the finance dashboard, the contact dashboard, the events dashboard, the content dashboard, and a voting dashboard. We'll get into each one of those as we move along. And then separately, as you get into learning about how to use each of these dashboards. Now, underneath the dashboards in each individual one, you'll sometimes see different views. For example, I'll just keep it here on the main page. As I drill down into the main dashboard, you'll see these green items, and these green items are really views, and these different views are windows into data rolled up underneath that dashboard, right? So if we look at the main dashboard, and you'll notice instructions for the dashboard, we'll see an inbox and a parking lot here, and I'll explain that in a different video. And you'll see the main dashboard has lists of tasks, priority people that you might need to call, an event snapshot for the upcoming week, and then a finance snapshot for your campaign. We've got some sample data in here that shows, hey, there's a $400 balance left in the campaign, which is good, positive. So what you'll notice are these pages underneath the main dashboard are called views, and each one of these things is a view. So this list or this table of tasks right here, that's a view into the tasks database. this need to call, this is a view into the task database, but it's a different view. So you'll notice that these are called different views, right? Now, if I click on this, it'll actually take me to just that view in a table form. But in reality, what we're doing is we're looking at this in the scope of a dashboard. So really, we don't need to use the views underneath the dashboard. We just use the dashboard itself. That's how Notion organizes itself, by showing you those views underneath it. So when we're looking at dashboards, we can look just at the main dashboard, and here you can interact with any of this data, right? If you want to create a task, you could just go ahead and click here and create a new one, and it's going to create that task in the scope of what I'm looking at here, which are my tasks, right? And if I look at this, you'll notice it's locked, but if I unlock it, I can see what the filters are here. Right, so I could see that the due date is on or before today, the status is not done, and it's assigned to me. So any task that I create here is going to follow that, right? It's going to put the due date, it's going to add me to it, right? So that's how we kind of use this. So if you want to create new tasks, you can just create them here, and they'll go right into the system. And they'll go into the main task database, which I'll get to in a little bit. We also have a task dashboard, right? So this is a dashboard just for rolling up all of your tasks. So what it's going to show you here are important upcoming tasks. And you'll have that broken down from today, tomorrow, this week, or this month. And again, it's another view of the priority need to contact list. You'll also see here all of your team tasks. So not just assigned to you, right? It's going to group these by assignee. But if there are any other teammates on your team, you'll be able to see their tasks here. So to the extent that you're assigning tasks to other people, you can stay on top of that here as well. And then a little bit further down below, you'll see task performance. And this is a chart that shows how many tasks of your own have been started, in progress, done, or might be blocked. And then how many for the total team. So you could see exactly what your team has started on, or what they have in progress. And you could gauge whether your team is making progress through those tasks or not. That's what we use the task dashboard for. Now, over on the finance dashboard, this is really going to roll up everything that you do with the financial capabilities of your campaign. And it starts off showing you what your current balance is. And this is all determined by a couple different things underneath the finance dashboard, which you can see. There are three main databases in the finance dashboard: transactions, vendors, and accounts. And we'll get to those when we get into the finance side of this. But essentially in the finance dashboard, you're going to see some charts and analytics related to the campaign budget. So part of the capabilities of the campaign planner, the political campaign planner, is actually allowing you to create a full budget, what you're expecting your money to come in and to go out. And that's all listed here. So for example, you'll see the income, you'll see the expenses, and then it will do a resolve as to exactly what your balance would be. And if it's a negative balance, that means you don't have enough to cover your expenses. So all of that will be listed here. We have some dummy data in here, but when you put your data in here, all this stuff will calculate out for you. It's going to show you some recent transactions. So it'll show you about a handful or so of the most recent transactions. So as transactions are entered, you could see some recent ones here. If you need to add or just do a quick donation or quick expense, you click those buttons and it'll create it in the database. And then we've got some charts showing you some of the transactions. So for example, any kind of fundraising that you've done, any kind of income is going to show here, and it's going to kind of break down the category of that income for you. Same thing with expenses. Any kind of expense that you've done is going to be here, and it's going to break down those expenses by category. And then on the side here, you'll notice vendors, right? And which vendors are the ones where most of your money are going to. So it looks at those expenses and it rolls them up here so you could see. Then we've got financial performance charts, which are really cool. And we'll get more into those when we start looking at the finance stuff. We also have a contact dashboard, and this dashboard is really great for showing you your favorite contacts, people you might need to get a hold of really quickly on a campaign, and also your team. So as your team expands, you'll have a visual representation of your team, and you'll have their information real quick access here. So if you're out and about and you need to get a hold of your campaign manager or somebody else on the team, you just fire up Notion and click a button, and you can call directly from here. We also have an events dashboard, and this is going to show you all the events in your system. So it rolls up all the events from your database, puts them on a calendar. You could sync that to your Notion calendar or your Google Calendar and have that right at your fingertips. You can also view events week, month, and then to the extent that you're working with a party committee like the Democratic Committee or Republican Committee, you'll be able to view committee meetings only, which sometimes are local events that you might be. And then you could also track events that the candidate is attending. So just things maybe you don't want to know about every event, just what the candidate is going to, and you could track that here. And then I wrote a long blog post about the official election calendar and creating your own election calendar. So you should check out that blog post. I have a link here, but you might want to track your specific official election calendar dates separate from any events that you're attending. And these are dates like circulating nominating petitions and turning them in, and election days and registration days and deadlines and things like that. And all of that is shown here for you. Moving over to the content dashboard, what you can see here is really a view into the content that you're going to create as you are running your campaign. So this is looked at in a timeline view or a calendar view here, right? So if you have dependencies, this is a really great view, right? Like you can't do a website until you have a bio. You can't do a bio until you've written the bio. So, and you might not be able to launch that till you have pictures. So you can really track the dependency and what's blocking or blocked by in this view. So you can get an understanding of what needs to be done. But we show all the different content that you're working on. It might be social media. And again, down here, you'll see different views. And this is a great area where you can dig into these different views, right? So for example, on your campaign, you might have some official resources. You know, you might have a guide to hosting events or a guide to phone banking. And, you know, these things can be shared with your team. If you have somebody who maybe wants to throw a phone bank or volunteer wants to host a phone bank for you, you can give them a guide right here and share it on Notion. As a candidate, you're going to have some official positions. You know, you might have a couple issues that you're espousing, and you could roll that up here and have comments or have a very consistent message or theme inside of that issue. And then you could use that across everything, whether it's your messaging on your website or in your social media, so that your entire campaign team understands what to say, or more importantly, what not to say when they're talking about your campaign. Then we also have some official branding here, right? And you could use Notion here to track your colors. You'll see here, we can pull this up. So you've got a main blue there, right? So you can track all your campaign colors and the hex codes, and this way it acts like a style guide of sorts. You can add your logos here. You can see I've added my campaign logos down here. You could attach font files. It's a really great place to keep everything in one place so that you have access to it when you need it, which you will on your campaign. Underneath the content dashboard, we have dedicated views for all your content types like email, social media, advertising, print collateral, website. Say, for example, when you're developing your website, you want to write down the dates and times that you're going to release the homepage or the Meet the Candidate page. You could also have a graphical sitemap of your website, which is listed here, and you can see the different pages. And then we've got the same for email and social media. So as you start to post things, you can look at this. So for example, we have a couple social media posts here, and you could list exactly which network that those are going to be posted on. And you could also track your statistics. So for example, if you are running ads in social media and those ads end up generating income, you can track the income raised off of social media. You could also track the engagements that you get off social media. Now, you have to put this into the database so that it can track it, but you could also connect this with different APIs and pull that data in automatically. So there's a lot we can do here. And the same with email. You could track the success of your email and statistics here, your click-through rate, how much you've raised, and look at all your different analytics, whether it be opens, clicks, conversion rates, unsub rates, things like that. You'll find the same thing if you look at advertising. You'll also find your ads, how much have you fundraised off of ads, what have your ads cost, what's your average CPM. And then you could look at things like impressions and how your impressions have grown cumulatively over time. You could also take a look at your advertising timeline and understand when ads are running. When do certain ads pick up and start and other ads stop? And you can look at that on a timeline against each other. So there's a ton that you could do by looking at the content dashboard. Now, finally, one of the most exciting things about this planner is the voting dashboard. And we have a couple different views in here too, so I'll open this up. But in the main dashboard, the main voting dashboard, this is a view into all your wards and precincts. And these are the voting districts inside your area. Now, some areas call them different things. For example, in Louisiana, they call certain districts parishes, right? So it might be called something different in your area. They might not use the ward and district terminology. At the federal level, they call voting districts the smallest voting block, right? And usually it's a couple blocks of a neighborhood, that kind of thing, that all go to one polling location. But again, the terminology might be different by you. So whatever your district is, you can put that into your district list. So for example, we have a view where you can have just your districts. And inside of those districts, you might have a lower breakdown. Like, for example, where I am in Pennsylvania, we use the ward and precinct terminology. So the ward is a big geography and the precincts are smaller geography. So we can keep track of the different municipalities and also the precincts. We can also track our goals for those precincts. For example, here you can see, obviously this is fake data. I'm not running a race where I only need 18 votes, but I have a goal of getting 18 votes from certain precincts, and I could track the likely votes that I'm going to receive and compare those. So that data can be listed here. I could also track that on a municipal basis. So if you're running in a district where maybe you have 10 municipalities, you can actually track the vote counts in all of the municipalities. Here I have the best, the rest, and the test municipality. And you could track your goals and your actual votes against that. And we also have a table here that will show all of the districts. You can see here I have 6 districts in this particular election, and I have my vote goals for those districts and what my likely vote count is. And that is summarized by the voter file and how many votes I expect to get. And it tells me what my progress to that goal is. And it also tells me how much more or how many more votes I need to get to hit my goal. So it's a really exciting tracker that you can see here in the voting dashboard. So that's the summary of the political campaign planner dashboards. In the next video, we'll get into the databases and show you the data that powers all these dashboards. And just as a quick note, you'll see the QR code on this video. If you haven't purchased this template already, or you'd like to purchase this template, you can go ahead and scan that QR code. It'll take you right to the Notion template database where you can find this. It'll come up right away directly to our template, and you have the ability to purchase the campaign planner template right there. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy the template. See you in the next video where we discuss databases.